let's talk about one of the coolest action figure lines that most people don't know about. What most people do know is the toy company Earl that made die-cast cars. But did you know Earl also made an action figure line? And you know I've seen the name Earl all my life, E-R-T-L, on cars, but I've never known how to pronounce it, and I'm just going by what my computer voice told me. So I always thought it was Earl, but it says it's not. So if I said it wrong, I'm sorry. Anyway, this is a company in the early 80s that made mostly die-cast cars, from trucks to cars from television shows. They did a Dukes of Hazzard line. They did all kinds of different car lines. But they also made a die-cast action figure line. That's right, die-cast action figures. Very small line, so this is going to be a very short video. But I knew some of you out there would probably love to see this line. And honestly, I never really paid attention to it until I was researching for this video. And I think it might be my new collection. I might need to try to get all of these because they're rare, but really they're easy to find on eBay and don't go for that much. So what was this die-cast action figure line? Well, it was based on famous icons of the time, famous movie stars, sports stars, etc. of that time. It was based on famous movie stars or sports stars of that time, and it's great. Let's take a look at them. First up, Darrell Waltrip. Hope I said your name right. Man, I'm horrible at reading names I've never heard before. All I know about this guy is a car racer. I've heard the name. I thought he was a current racer. I would have thought he was still a NASCAR guy because it seems like I've heard that name on in the last 5 years or so. Maybe he has a son that races or something. But apparently, he was a race car driver back in the early 80s, and he had an action figure. Now, the picture on the card has him looking like Mickey Gilley with a cowboy hat, but the action figure, for some reason, doesn't have the hat. But let's take a closer look at the Darrell Waltrip action figure. He's got a bunch of red patches on him and a green belt. He's wearing a white jumpsuit with a bunch of red patches on him. I'm guessing that's the logos like NASCAR people have. And he also comes with a green belt, or a green rubber band around his waist. Doesn't look much like a belt. I don't see a buckle or anything, but it's around his waist, or around his belly button, so I'm guessing it's a belt. Why doesn't it have the hat? Not sure. Would look a little better if it did. Or maybe a race car helmet would have been nice. And there was one more NASCAR race car driver that they released in this line, and it's one every kid in the 80s knew. That I was never into NASCAR. I can't tell you. I mean, I can name maybe 3 race car drivers that I've heard of, but everybody knew Richard Petty. Now, I knew him mostly from those STP commercials, but he was just somebody you always known, an icon in his field that there was no escaping knowing who this guy was. And here he is, the Richard Petty Grand National Stock Car Driver, and again a die-cast metal movable action figure. He comes in a blue jumpsuit and looks like he has a white turtleneck on, or maybe they're trying to say he was a part-time priest. Not a really impressive looking action figure, but just the fact that they made an action figure is pretty cool. There's only 3 more to look at, but they're the best ones. Now, I'm not sure if this one is Stallone as Rocky or a Rocky action figure. It has both names on it. Let's take a look. Here he is, Superstars. It says Sylvester Stallone as seen in Rocky 3. Doesn't say it's a Rocky 3 action figure. So is this an action figure of Stallone playing Rocky? That could be an action figure first. An action figure of an actor playing the character? I don't think we've ever seen that before. But here he is, without his shirt, his boxer shorts, some nice socks, and red gloves. Now, I always like to try to save the best for last. These 2 here, I couldn't decide which one is the best, and I need both of these figures. I need them right away. So I had to decide which one to show first, and I kind of just flipped a coin and picked one. I picked one, so let's take a look at the next one. It's based off a television show. And here it is, Colt, as seen on The Fall Guy. This, of course, is Lee Majors as Colt Seavers. Now, unlike the Rocky Stallone figure, this one doesn't have the actor's name. So we have a Colt Seavers action figure. For some reason, the last name is left off. Also, oddly, these are official figures, but you can see the name and the name of the show doesn't have a trademark next to it, a little TM. Anyway, this is the Superstars Colt action figure. It's recommended for ages 3 and up, and he's got some nice blue jeans on, a white belt, and he actually has a belt buckle, the leather jacket with the red shirt. Doesn't really look much like him, but still, just a cool figure to have. Now, I said I would save the best for last, and I'm going to do it. Here's the best action figure. This one needed a whole line all to itself. Let's take a look. Here it is, The Bandit, as seen from Smokey and the Bandit. That's right, a Burt Reynolds action figure. Can you believe it? They made a Burt Reynolds action figure or a Bandit from Smokey and the Bandit action figure. Like the Rocky one, this one doesn't have the actor's name. It just says Bandit. And unlike the race car driver we looked at first, this one actually comes with a cowboy hat. He has some tight blue jeans on, his red sports jacket with black bands around the sleeve, and his famous mustache. This is the coolest action figure in the line, although the Colt Seavers one's pretty cool also. A Burt Reynolds action figure is cool, a Bandit action figure is cool, but a Burt Reynolds as the Bandit action figure, that's even cooler. Well, that's a look at the Superstars action figure line. Wasn't many of them. I wish they did a whole series of these. Being that they wasn't limited to just doing movies or just TV shows or just sports, they could have done a whole cool line of these. But sadly, these are the only figures we got in this line. Again, you can pick them up on eBay. Now, they don't go for much, but now when I say they don't go for much, I mean they don't go for vintage Star Wars prices. They're all under $100. In fact, some of them go for under $40, under $30. You can even get them loose. The problem with the loose ones being that these are metal die-cast figures, the paint wore off pretty easy with play. So it's going to be hard to find a loose one in good condition. But I wouldn't mind having Burt Reynolds action figure loose over here. I'm really thinking about getting all of these on card. Being that there's not that many of them to even make an action figure line, this is an action figure line that's cool, that you can collect that most people don't have. I always like stuff in my collection that's a good conversation. Well, people see it and want to look at it and amazed by it. This is a great line for that. Again, it's called Superstars, and they were right. This line was full of superstars. Kind of short video. Not much I can add to this line, being this is all they did, but I really wanted to talk about them and show them to some of you guys that may not know them. So, there you go. I want to thank you for watching. As always, please let me know in the comments below what you think about this action figure line. Did you have them? Would you like to have them? And as always, please thumb up the video so I and YouTube know you like my content. And until we talk again, Fred's going to take us out of here.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.